Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Matter of the Heart, where we bring you positive, healing, empowering stories, all to elevate your spirit. I'm your host, Carol Olivia, and always so glad that you take the time out to listen to the Matter of the Heart. I'm wondering, listeners, have you ever bought a stone, a gemstone? And sometimes have you ever been attracted to a certain gemstone and you don't know why? Maybe there's something in that stone that's attracting you, and maybe there's something in that stone that is not attracting you. And maybe, just maybe, there's an energy force in that stone that we just can't exactly figure out why or how or any of the above. One of the mysteries, many mysteries of life. Do you know your gemstone for your birthday? We always have these lists anywhere you look, and you might want to check into that as well. And I know I had one guest on the show, and she was talking about placing gemstones on chakras for healing purposes. I found that fascinating. So obviously, we are going to be talking about gemstones, which is all around us. It's nothing new. It's been validated over the years and over the years and over the years. We're going to dig into it. We're going to delve into it, the healing aspects of it, the physical, the emotional, and how do they all connect? When we apply, when we use one, can they tap into our heart chakra? Can it heal us? Can it help to heal us? Well, today's guest on the Matter of the Heart is Laurelle Rethke. And I was noticing, Laurelle, somebody called, in Native American, they called you Stone Medicine Woman, which I found really touching because I'm so much into Native Americans. Laurelle is a vibrational healing therapist, a spiritual alchemist. She has so many certifications, and we will list and tell you some of them. She's certified in the Master of Christology, makes sense. She's certified in essential oils, and I think you teach it, Laurelle. She's certified in source awareness meditation. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Barbara Brennan. She's certified with the Barbara Brennan Hands of Light Healing and Astrology. All of this and much more with her background for shifting one's perspective. Not easy, but simply shifting your perspective of how you feel, your attitude, with your heart pumping away, not pumping away, towards healing and spiritual alignment. Welcome to the show, Laurelle.
Thank you, Carol. Thanks for having me.
Now, I can't help but notice the background. And it's really unbelievable.
Thank you.
I wouldn't even know where to begin with it. But I do notice they're in a certain order of colors.
Yeah, I do tend to show things off in color, by color, because a lot of that is how we connect to the stones. And colors can give us clues or hints as to which stone will work best in which location. It's not the full aspect of it, but it is one aspect of how we can work with stones, is by working with their colors.
So with that, Laurelle, does each color have its own, I'm presuming, its own vibration? And why is it that I know if I go into a crystal shop, I'm more attracted to a certain stone? It's like drawing my energy, or I'm drawing it, whatever it is, vice versa. Does each stone have a different vibration with the color?
Definitely. I mean, there's several things that bring the vibration of the stone through. One is color. One is the crystalline structure. One are the minerals that are present in the stone. A lot of it also is how the crystal is formed, where it is formed, and the personality that comes through the growth pattern of that particular stone. So there's a lot of different things that influence how a crystal will work with us. But we are usually drawn to 1, 2, or 3 stones to work with at a time, sometimes more. But we're drawn to that energy because our spirit, our soul knows that that's the right stone for us to work with. There's so much that goes into it that I like to say it's beyond our fullest comprehension. We have a lot of information and a lot of details behind how the stones work, but there's something a little mystical about how we are drawn to something. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, I need a stone for protection, or I need a stone for heartbreak. And the thing is that there's usually at least 10 stones or more that will assist with that. But which one is the right one for you at this time? So when we follow what we feel drawn most to, we're really connecting, one, with our own intuitive wisdom and strengthening that connection to self, as well as bringing in the right stone for us.
All right, so with that, Miss Laurelle, I'm presuming as our soul is evolving or changing or shifting, that we'll be attracted to different stones at different intervals of our journeys. Would you agree with that?
Pardon?
Would you agree with that?
Yes, yes. A lot of times someone will come in and they'll pick a stone and they'll use it for a weekend, and then they're like, I don't really feel it as much. But other times people come in and they pick a stone and they'll work with it for 3, 5, 10 years or the rest of their lives. For instance, a lot of people are initially drawn to either clear quartz, which is this little gem, or rose quartz, which is a pink variety of that stone, which I have a nice big one here I can show you, rose quartz, or amethyst. And here's a really interesting growth pattern of amethyst. So these stones are often what people are drawn to most, and these stones are often a constant throughout our lives. Not that there aren't other stones that can be constants, but often, you know, amethyst was the first stone that I really truly worked with in earnest, and I still work with amethyst to this day. It's my touchstone, so to speak, that I always go back to. But then I'll go through 3, 4, 5 years while I'm working with another stone a lot. And then sometimes it's just day by day. I'll pick up a stone one day and I'll wear it for a day or two, and then I don't come back to it for 3 or 4 months. So it's just really what I need to shift my vibration to that day. And sometimes it's the minerals within it. Sometimes it's the structure of it. Sometimes it's the color and which energy center or glandular system we're working with that day, that week, that month, that year.
Okay, so 2 questions I have with that, Laurelle, is why amethyst and why rose quartz? Because you said it was universal. And me as a customer, I walk into a gemstone store. How do I know the quality of the stone?
Well, knowing the quality of the stone is something that takes a little time. I know a lot of people come in and they'll say, why is this amethyst $1 and this amethyst $25? And a lot of that does have to do with the clarity, the luster that we see on the outside, sort of that shimmer on the outside.
It's a stone that has that as you're speaking, Laurelle.
I'll show you an example. Okay. Yeah. So, for instance, this is a rough, raw piece of amethyst, and this is a $2 stone. But this amethyst came from a mass form of amethyst that was broken down. And so it hasn't come into its fully crystallized nature. It can be crystalline in regards to transparency sometimes, like this stone is a little more transparent and is only $5. But these are both from a mass form of amethyst. Whereas this other piece that I showed you, this one or this one, these have come in, these have come more into their full formation. Trying to make it where you can see the purple. So this piece is a regular amethyst point. It is what we would call celestial because there's little points growing up on the sides. So that makes it a little more special as a growth pattern and helps us to know how the stone will work with us. But it's not quite as uncommon as this spirit quartz, which has a different growth pattern where one crystal grows straight up and many crystals grow around it on the sides. This only comes from one location in South Africa, whereas crystal points like this one can come from all over the world. So this particular piece is going to be a little more expensive, also the dark color of it, than this particular piece, which we can get, well, this is probably from Brazil, but we can get all over the world. So that's part of the cost differences that people don't quite understand when they're first coming into the business.
Yeah.
But what matters most is if the stone speaks to you. If you are called to that stone, drawn to that stone, I would say that's the stone that you're meant to work with. And sometimes it's a little more than we want to spend necessarily, but oftentimes it's not. We can always work with the energy of the stone, the energy of the amethyst itself, regardless of the growth pattern. But this, for instance, this growth pattern is really great for connecting up to spirit guides, and it cleanses and clears our whole energy field as we work with it, because there's points going out all around the piece.
Oh, how
interesting. So
I know.
light hits it and it cleanses our field, and also as we sort of cleanse and clear and connect with spirit, then it opens us to receive more abundance and more joy into our lives. But all amethysts, regardless of the growth pattern, are going to really work as a natural sedative for the mind, to really allow us to stop thinking too much and come into some peace, some inner peace, bring spirituality more down into our physical life.
Very interesting. As you were speaking, I have a ring with tiger's eye, and sometimes I'm attracted to wear it, and sometimes I'm not. Lately, I have not been attracted. I feel it's almost like a heaviness, the heavy energy to it. But I'm sure this is what you're speaking about, how that stone is drawn to us. Does the depth of the color, the intensity of the color, have anything to do with the healing aspect?
Yes, of course. If the color is deeper, that usually means there's more of the trace mineral that's giving color to the stone, and it can be more intensely felt in some ways. But there's times, for instance, I keep pointing to this really dark spirit quartz, but spirit quartz normally comes still only from that one location in South Africa in this lighter color. It's almost a lilac form of amethyst. And the color, you can almost just get a sense of it by looking at them, that the color does shift how we resonate with the stone. The darker colors, a lot of people really resonate more with the darker colors because they feel it more in their body. And the lighter color is more of a spiritual connection, a finer vibration, so to speak.
Do certain cultures, are they drawn more to certain stones? I remember reading Obsidian, Native Americans use for cleansing negative energies. Is that true? Certain stones, as far as the negative energies go?
Well, a lot of times I think certain cultures are drawn to certain stones because that's what's easiest for them to find and work with. Like I said, there's so many stones that work on similar issues, just from a slightly different perspective. But if a certain culture has a particular stone that is easy for them to access, part of it is because that's the stone that culture is meant to be accessing. And part of it is just its locality, and that's the stone that will work on certain issues that they would like to be working on. But a lot of the indigenous cultures do work more with obsidian. And obsidian is a really fascinating stone. It actually has, pure black obsidian has no crystalline structure in it whatsoever. It forms very quickly from lava. And so it's about expansiveness and no boundaries. and it will bring you everything good and everything bad. So it can be an intense stone to work with. However, it's really good at helping you get to the root cause of something. It's a great diagnostic tool. So it's a great stone to use in crystal healing. And some people are really drawn to it just because that's how they learn best, is in these more intense ways. If they get everything bad, they'll be like, oh, that's enough of that bad. I don't need that anymore. And they'll shift their own vibration, their own perspectives into a place where that's not what's coming in for them anymore, and more of the positive aspects that they want will come in. So I think a lot of the indigenous cultures were very close to nature and were able to work in this way without as many setbacks as, let's say, those of us that are in a Western society where we're walking in rubber sole shoes on concrete and we're breaking that natural connection to the earth. It's not as easy to dump that excess energy that comes into our energy fields. And so obsidian can be more intense in a situation like that.
Well, a couple of things I thought of, Laurelle. First of all, when you get to the root of something, you get to the cause, and that creates wisdom.
Yes.
Another thing, what I also thought of I find obsidian, well, I love obsidian, but I have to get an obsidian now because I don't have it now. But certain cultures, you're saying, are drawn, I'm looking at the umbrella, so to speak, macro. There's certain cultures that are drawn to certain stones because of who they are, their souls.
Yeah. A lot of it is about collective, what's happening in the collective. Yeah.
That's what I'm picking up. Exactly. Yes. There's so much to this. If we were going to hold a stone in our hand, and if you don't mind, how about picking a stone that's calling you now?
Well, I'm going to pick amethyst.
Okay. Do we at the same time use any affirmations? What do we do?
Well, I think it's great to meditate with a stone first. A lot of people in our culture automatically go to the books and start reading about the stone, and they pick stones based on what the books say. And certainly there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of us come to the stones that way, and there's no wrong way. But it's also a good idea to put the books down and just put the stone in your hand and meditate with the stone and see what information starts coming through for you. Because even though the books speak give a lot of information about how the stone will work, and that's true, we each have a different way of relating. Each stone has its own personality, and each one of us has our own personality. So we're all going to relate to the same stone in a slightly different way.
Well, that makes sense. And I couldn't help but think of the word intuition. Because if I'm holding a stone, which is so natural, I want to get to my gut, quiet the mind, and I want to hear my inner voice. So to me, the intuitive process would work to me best than reading page 33, paragraph 2. I think that would connect more to the root, if I might use that word, to the root of the healing aspect of a stone. Now, you also mentioned grounding. Are certain stones more grounding?
Yes. All of the black stones are more grounding and protective. Also, the stones that are heavier, that feel heavier to us, like hematite or galena or sphalerite or I know I'm forgetting one that I was thinking to say, a black tourmaline, even meteorites. These are heavier stones. And so when we put it in our hand, we feel that weight, and it helps to bring our energy in and down so that we have that grounding aspect. Smoky quartz is another good stone for grounding. So, and there's even a few black stones that are very light that can be grounding as well. One of my favorites is jet. It's not really a stone at all. It's really, the way I like to describe it is driftwood that's been compressed in mud and petrified over time. But it's because of that, because it's that driftwood at the core of it, it's very absorbent of all negative energy. And so the way it protects you is to absorb that negativity, and the way it grounds you is to remind you that things aren't as heavy as we think they are. So often in classes, and I want to show you a piece. Often in classes, I will pick this stone up and put it in people's hands, and they're immediately surprised at how light it is, because it is black and people feel like it's going to be heavy, and then they're like, oh, it's so light. And it almost immediately they feel that sense of relief that things aren't as heavy. And it's one of my favorite stones. In classical Chinese medicine, right, they say that jet absorbs unhealthy qi, or absorbs unhealthy energy. Right. And that works on the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, and the physical level to really absorb anything that is not serving us at this time. It's also really great for headaches because it can absorb all of the pain that comes from a headache and other illnesses that we might encounter.
Oh, that's a good stone for everybody to have.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I talk about it a lot.
Yeah, and where is that basically found?
Jet mainly comes from Russia.
Russia.
But there's something called ocean jet that some people sell that comes from the ocean. There's a place in the Northeast where this ocean jet is found. But most of it that we find is from Russia.
From Russia. Fascinating, really, really fascinating. So when you're talking about jet, certain stones can absorb negative energies, but certain stones cannot?
Right. Each stone works in a slightly different way. So whereas jet is going to be absorbent, something like black tourmaline is all tourmalines sort of cleanse and clear all of the subtle energy bodies as well as the physical body. Right. And in that aligning and cleansing of all the subtle bodies, it creates a nice, strong sheath around our energy field. And so the way that black tourmaline works then is if someone is sending negativity towards you, it bounces off of you a little bit easier and is directed back towards them, so that you're not picking up as much of the negativity. So a lot of people love black tourmaline because of that. I'd say many people in New York City carry black tourmaline with them because they feel bombarded by so much in our culture here in the city. So, which is where I am, New York City. Hi. Hi to all the New York City peeps. But a lot of people will carry black tourmaline on them for that reason.
Oh, that's very interesting. Wow. Wow. And the last I want to ask you, do you work with chakras and gemstones?
Yes.
You do? Okay. And
yeah, that's really how I came to it. I studied with someone who taught at Katrina Raphael's school in Hawaii for 10 years. I studied with this person and learned that laying on of stones technique, which is different than the certification that I ended up getting with Melody. But in learning that, that's sort of the basis of where I started. I studied actually with 5 different crystal healing lineages, and all of them except one, well, maybe 2, work with the chakra system. And that's why I use color a lot when I'm talking about stones. It just is a great guide, because if we're following the rainbow bridge to consciousness with the chakras, then the stones also work with those chakras and those colors. And it's an easy way for people who are not sure how to use the stone to get started. So the red and the black stones and the dark browns and dark greens, these are good for earth chakra, also the heavy metal stones, the earth chakra and the root chakra. And then you just sort of follow the colors up the chakras to work with the stones with each chakra.
Well, that would be a fascinating show to do that.
Yeah, we could definitely go into a lot of detail there.
Do you have any, I know we talked about it before, but I didn't ask you again. Do you have any short meditation?
Yes, in fact, I was thinking that too. I was thinking if any of our guests have a crystal that they can grab, and even if they don't, they can just imagine what it feels like to have a crystal in their hand. Most people have had a crystal in their hand at some point. But I'd love to do a brief meditation just to give you a few tips as to how you can connect more deeply with the stone. So shall we do that?
Sure, go to it.
Wonderful. All right, so usually I just say get into a comfortable position and breathe. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And just take a moment to feel your energy or your spirit come into your body. So you can feel it come in through the top of your head, travel along the front of your spine, and settle between your root at your hips and the crown of your head. And breathe. And really feel your energy centered right within you. And notice that you have a grounding cord that's connected from your root chakra at your hips right down to the center of the earth. And you can feel that nurturing, loving support from the earth coming back up and right up into all of your chakras. And then notice also there is a spirit cord, I like to call it, another energy cord connected from the top of your head right up to the center of the heavens or the center of the divine energies. And there you connect with all of the love and light of the divine. And you can feel those love and light energies coming back down right into the top of your head and down along your chakras, right along the midline of the body. And then you can feel the support from the earth below and the divine energies from above merging with your own central energy, strengthening it, brightening it. So much that your own central energy emanates from your center out through your whole physical body and beyond. And just take a moment in this space to really feel that energy field that's all around you. And notice what it feels like. And then turn your attention again towards your center, towards your central energy, the core of you. And now you are centered and grounded and connected. And this is a good place to start experiencing the energies of the stone. And if you don't have the crystal in your hand already, pick it up. But if you've had it in your hand, just take a moment to feel it. Does it feel heavy or light? Smooth or rough? Warm or cool? And now start to realize that the crystal also has an energy field all around it, as all things do. And you can start to feel the energy field of the crystal merging with your own energy field. And how does that shift your energy? You can even feel the energy from the stone traveling up your arm and into your body. And just notice, where does the energy go in your body? How does it move? What does it look like? Are there colors or shapes? Are there feelings that come in or images that come into your mind? Thoughts that come into your head? Just take a moment to notice all those things. These are all clues as to how this stone will work with you. And now take that crystal and put it on your body. Wherever you felt that energy go in your body, and see if actually having the stone against this part of your body feels differently than how it felt in your hand. And move the crystal to another location and see if that feels different. And you can continue playing with the stones in the future. But for now, for time's sake, just take a moment to say hi to the crystal. They really are their own consciousness. So just say, hi, my name is, I picked you because. Is there any information or a message that you have for me? And just be quiet, even if nothing comes through. There's still a communication and a connection that's really starting by you taking time with this stone or crystal. But many of you will have images come into your head, thoughts or feelings. Even if they're not what you expect, just go with it. There's a reason that this information is coming in for you now, as opposed to all the other things that could be coming in. And then just take a moment to say thank you. Thank you to the stone for assisting you. And you can even ask the stone to work with you in a certain way or to assist you with the message that came through. And again, you can journey more at another time, but for now, just again, if you've journeyed far away, feel your energy come back into the center of your body. Feel that connection to the earth below, supporting and holding you, and that connection to the divine energies above, flooding you with love, light, consciousness. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I shortened it.
Absolutely beautiful. I certainly visualized. I saw a deep violet stone, and maybe even citrine.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting.
You know, I could feel the energy moving, just like the ripples of the water. And now, as I'm speaking to you, I actually see a rainbow. You know, with an eagle flying high, spreading its wings. You know, taking off. This was absolutely beautiful, Laurelle. She is the founder, Laurelle Rethke, of 5 Sense Healing. certainly check out her website. This is
that's the healing website. I also have a website called the Faerie Den, which is the shop and classes, and I teach quite a bit here in New York City and working on some videos too.
Wonderful. Well, this lady, ladies and gentlemen, has a passion. A strong passion. It's in her, I would say, her spiritual DNA, and it ain't going away. It's there to stay. She's going up the ladder more and more. She's expanding herself more and more. And she has such a beautiful, I felt a love connection with the stones, a bond with the stones, as the stones, a spirit of the stones are speaking to Laurelle, and as a spirit of Laurelle is speaking to the stones. I feel like a bonding energy, a duality. Even I'm picking up a negative, positive, negative chi. All of that stuff is in that beautiful meditation that I hope you all listen to over and over again. Thank you, Laurelle Rethke from 5 Sense Healing. My name is Carol Olivia. The show is called The Matter of the Heart, and I'm sure some of these stones will connect to your heart. Thanks, Laurelle. Thank you so much.
Have a beautiful day.